Sound resumed.
Alright, and we are back for the third game of House Party 5v5 EU West. Already, it's shaping up to be a pretty good day. We've had some fairly good games. The first one, a little bit of a stomp with the Yasao coming out strong, but the second one, a much closer game with some really good play on both sides.
Yeah, both teams looking up in those two games that both of them could have won the game, but it just was the alignment of the stars that it did not happen for them.
Yeah, and already we're seeing the bans come down, targeted at that player himself, Mr. Pixel, with the Yasao bans straight away, and the Tryndamere.
Yeah, and actually a Darius for the top lane, so it's a full-out ban fest.
Oh, but that does mean Skarner is left up.
Yeah,
this could be pretty strong.
And actually what's also is up is the Gangplank. So, but they still go for the Skarner, which is a very strong jungler. I think it's the strongest jungler at the moment.
I would say he's certainly one of the strongest. He scales really well now. Always had a very good kit since he had that change in the Juggernaut patch. But at the same time, thinking about the top lane, not only is Gangplank left up, but Garen as well. We may see one of those coming through. It depends what Pixel decides to go for if he chooses to go into that role. We're seeing an Ashe blind picked on the other side, and possibly a Victor. Both of which are okay picks. Oh, but Nivea coming through.
Hello!
Wow, Froggen, take your notes. This will be interesting. And Nivea coming through for the mid lane. Who were you going to counter it with, really? Because we don't see a lot of these kicking about nowadays.
No, we... actually, I think it was on LCS. I think it was one of them rock-up games where Nuke Duck tried to play in Nivea.
Yes.
If I remember right, it was against Victor, and it did not turn out so well.
Yeah, if we remember correctly, that game did not go down very well for that Nivea. Possibly the Orianna and the Jinx coming through. Again, very, very strong picks. Jinx is going to be able to trade well with the Ashe having that outrange with the rockets. Orianna going to have some really good zone potential to possibly outzone the zone from the Anivia. Whenever she goes in to try and land those frostbite damages, she's just going to get met with the ball in the face. Maybe a Rengar coming through on the purple side jungle.
Yeah, that's very scary. Unless they're gonna counter with Janna just buying pink wards and then just tornado every time that Rengar comes.
Well, Janna's being picked against the Skarner, so I quite like that because the Skarner is quite maneuverable and can get onto your team quite easily because he just goes in, uses the slow and can get in there. But the Janna being able to disengage with ult and tornado means that you just have enough to keep him away from you long enough for the slow to run out, and then you've got Ashe, who is the kite queen with her slows as well.
Yeah,
Pixel I was kind of trolling us a little as well.
Yeah, just showing the champion boost that he's got, and actually I was being a little bit wrong there because it's not Janna who can't really play against a Rengar because they're on the same team.
Yeah, exactly.
So getting mistaken
it'll be interesting to see what support comes through, and it looks like it's going to be Braum.
Some very manly power on the bottom lane.
That is a lot of tank and general just survivability there. So you've got the Skarner who may or may not be going Cinderhulk. I would think he would go Cinderhulk though, because he's quite survivable as he goes along. But the Orianna shield's coming through as well, and then you've got Maokai just as a tanky beast. But look at that. It's actually going to be an Olaf top lane. That's going to be an interesting lane. Very strong.
Yeah, showing some nice fighter. Let's see how of them fighter mechanics are gonna be. But it still kind of saddens me that no Gangplank pick though.
No Gangplank pick, no Garen's coming through. It's just going to be a sort of more standard Maokai and Olaf lane. I mean, I say standard, it's relatively new to sort of these set of patches, but Olaf could become such a beast this game if he gets snowballing, so to speak. That Nivea.
Yeah, actually some little bit of I actually forgot where the Ashe and the Lysandra whole thing their war was from?
And
Taking
probably
place.
over at the Howling Abyss.
No, it was the icy plains of
Freljord.
yeah, Freljord.
Yeah, so it's a very much icy game, this one. You've got Braum, you've got Ash, and you've got Anivia, but I feel on the red side, it's going to be a very much squishier team. You would hope that Janna will be able to disengage enough to keep the blue team off, but at the same time, they have a lot of reliable engage. So they have the slows from Braum, they have the Skarner slows, and they have the Maokai Twisted Advance. And if they get a catch on someone, then it could just be game over for them, because the Orianna is going to come through really strong with the Command Protect, the Command Shockwave, and so much damage. And with Jinx just firing rockets from the back line, if the Rengar doesn't get snowballing, I feel it could be a really tough game for them to bring back.
And what's also have to keep an eye out is the Skarner versus the Rengar.
Yeah, definitely.
They're gonna. I think Skarner is gonna bring some utility, whilst Rengar is gonna bring just flat out killing power.
Yeah, I think
for the teams.
Rengar's definitely going to bring the fear, I feel, of possible ganks from rivers and just from lanes, because obviously with that ultimate you can just come through, and it doesn't even matter if you have wards unless they're deep enough. So I would like to see some deep wards coming down from this Braum. But at the same time, the objective pressure is going to be interesting, because obviously blue side is going to be committing over the wall for like Dragon. So the Dragon pressure is going to be a little bit lower unless they can get in there. Once they get in there, it's going to be quite hard to shift though, because Skarner's crystals are just going to give him so much power that you're not going to be able to get him off. Once he's in that zone, he's just going to become a beast.
And
potential for miracle steals, potential.
Yeah, it's all potential until it actually happens, and then we're gonna lose our cookies.
Yes,
on
definitely.
That one.
But Braum also coming out with the Ignite, I think, investing a lot of damage that he wants to push in there, and I think he wants to make sure that the team can't get snowballing and has the ability to trade back. So even if Rengar does come and lands the damage, there's a potential to turn it back around on the Rengar and trade back 1 kill, maybe 2.
Alright, I'm working into the Game 3 champion loading screen. Twitch chat, you know what to do. Use the hashtag Scorpion win or hashtag Cat win. We wanna see we'll always wanna see who you're rooting for.
Yeah, personally, I think it's gonna be a hashtag Scorpion win, because I like the comp. I think there's a lot of potential for team fights, but that's just my own preference.
And Olaf keeping it up, and Janna actually keeping it up with the team of their team. Just ice.
Just 4 ice, and then you've got a cat. So Rengar breaking the mold, deciding to go against the grain, but we'll forgive him this time. Because I wouldn't have minded seeing Sejuani. It would have been an interesting team, but we'll have to make do for now. I'm going to be definitely interested to see how he plays the early game. Sort of the route he takes, and also whether he decides to whether he tries to go for the counter jungle, or whether he just plays it safe and just goes for a normal clear, and possibly an early gank, or maybe just first back, buy his upgraded smite, and then possibly transition that into a gank.
Braum running an ignite, whilst Janna running the exhaust. So to give actually it's the based on the summoners, they're running kind of a comp that's going right up against instead of going in favor for them, because they're gonna neglect the damage.
Yeah, so I think it's definitely going to be interesting how they play it out. So I feel early game Jinx has a slight edge because of the ignite, but once it starts hitting like level 3s upwards, then that becomes a little bit trickier until she gets those items behind her and starts becoming a team fighting monster. And once she gets the big crits off with that rocket, it's just going to be a really tough time.
Yeah, we actually see that Skarner disconnected, but there's a reconnect. The team is not going for a pause, which they can do. It's an option with this custom game. Or can they actually? Is this a tournament draft?
Not too sure. Red team with the BM going straight for the Spire, but it's not that bad. You take it early, you get a little bit of gold. But Skarner will happily retake that. It's more for to know when Skarner takes it, so that you can see that, but he looks like he might actually thinking about it. Don't know if to go for it, but no. So he's just gonna back off.
Is Skarner going near the push just to get the ward in, but the Janna and the Anivia were closing in, but they don't close the gap. So I got a word from our production director that it is not a tournament draft, so they can't pause it.
No, so it's fine because he's back, he's in time, and he didn't really think. Maokai gonna start an early camp for the level 2. Quite like it. I think it's gonna get him a little bit of CS back, but it's really gonna mainly equal out what the Olaf's doing right now, where he's taking wolves, and Maokai's just going straight for the raptors.
Yeah, Maokai most likely going to take all that camp instead of old ways where you just take the tree and you walk the lane.
Well, because Skarner's starting topside, he might not even want to do raptors. He might just want to do topside jungle, either go buff and then go for back and gank, or he might just want to clear entire topside, then red, then just back, or gank. It'll be interesting to see his jungle pathing. Rengar also starting blue side. I quite like this because I feel it could add a lot more pressure, but it will be interesting because Jinx did get that Krug start, and that could really put them behind.
Yeah, but now, thanks to taking the golems on the bottom side, they're a little bit low health, so they're getting a little bit of harassment coming from Janna. I have to be a little bit careful of not going too low on that one.
I mean, we'll see how she farms into turret. If she farms well, this will actually still be net ahead. But at the same time, it looks like... Yep, so she is slightly ahead. So it's a little advantage, and Olaf going really aggressive here.
Yeah, tries to go ham against the tree, but Skarner is there to back him up. They stacking up, which is he gets stunned up. There's the ghost coming up, but the last tick, there comes the flash. Auto attack from Maka. It's the first blood for a pixel.
And he got slapped by the tree and punished for that not having flash. Having the ghost, it just meant that it was an easy target for the Skarner because he just doesn't have the ability to get out as easily. Just really well played by blue team to get that kill.
And also getting the ghost out and still getting the kill, like, that's how you want your ganks basically to go. You burn the summoners and still manage to get the kill. And that's basically 100% effectiveness of the gank.
Yeah, exactly. And they get the Wave Hunter, so they deny a little bit of CS as well, which is also really good for this Maokai to keep him ahead, keep him going. And he's going to pick up a Glacial Shroud first and walk back to lane. Already blown the TP.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was actually just on the champion picking screen that we're gonna go for this Olaf because he was the lowest ranking player on this game, so I'm not sure if that was a little bit that or just...
So the Olaf was last picked, so it could have possibly been a little bit of miscommunication, but at the same time they had the ability to choose something that he was confident with, and it just looks like the Skarner's just going to come out really good here in the early game because he landed the stun, landed the slow, and it just was just enough to make sure that they could keep the Olaf down and get the kill. if it did cost a flash from the Maokai.
But both 8 carries dead even on CS so far on this lane, and so is basically the mid lane carry, so that's not something to see. And every lane is basically even on CS.
Every lane is even right now. There is a wave for Maokai currently, so he is going to start to pull ahead once he evens out the wave pressure, but really well played by all the lanes to just basically stay even. They're trading damage as well, now and again. Brown picking up a minion there. Not as good, but at least it keeps it off the turret, I suppose.
And Rengar looking for a gank. He's not 6 yet, he's only a 4. But when you're on top lane, Olaf is trying to straight, and now he's forcing Orianna to go upwards to that push where Rengar is hiding, but doesn't have quite enough.
Doesn't have the
Finish
damage
up the
to
kill.
come through. The ignite would have done a little bit, but it wouldn't have brought her low enough, unfortunately.
Doesn't burn anything basically from Orianna, just walking away.
Yeah, I feel it wasn't chained as well as it could have been, so getting the root into the Anivia stun would have been good there, but just not chaining it as effectively as possible, and
once again, we've seen this before. Once, but it ended up in the same result. No need for a rematch because it's the same result. Anyway, Maokai picking up that kill, but now on the bottom lane, Janna gets caught up by the jumpers, gets ignited, a flash zap comes through, and the last auto attack. Ignite was burning, but it wasn't enough. Jinx is gonna get stunned, Ashe is gonna get stunned, actually by the Braum passive, and now the TP coming up from Maokai, and their bottom lane is just gonna run away. That's not gonna be a follow-up. Olaf though, using the TP to get on top lane.
Yeah, so both TPs have come out. I feel Maokai's was a little bit lackluster. I didn't feel he needed to go through with this because now he's just going to have to recall and walk back top lane, and it's not... The TP hasn't really accomplished anything, whereas Olaf's used his to make sure that he keeps the CS off his turret.
Oh, but Rengar is now ganking. They're still there for some reason. Braum flashes backwards, does the snare, but now Jinx is exhausted. Rengar jumps in, Ashe gets the kill, gets the second one, thanks to the Rengar gank.
Really good there, really well played. I liked where the Rengar making sure to walk back, make full use of that bush to just jump straight on the Jinx and make sure she was low enough for the Ashe to pick it up. Both kills going over. That's going to really help this bottom lane get snowballing. Transitioning this into a dragon as well is going to be really good for the team. You get those bonuses, but Orianna looking to contest.
Yeah, Orianna has ultimate up. Let's see if he goes for it. He tries it, but it's not in range. Instead, he's just gonna pay the gruesome death in the hands of Rengar.
Now, that is just too deep to go. When you're Orianna, you could even try that from over the other side of the dragon pit wall. You don't have to be around that side, and putting yourself in that position just meant Anivia could come from behind, lay down that ultimate, and just zone her out with the Glacial Storm. I mean, just not really worth it. Didn't even get the dragon in the end, so literally just traded a kill over.
Yeah, and topping on the ace, just missing the shockwave. That was a little hysterical to look, but sad at the same time.
It's always
the ball
sad.
being so close.
I mean, just not enough to really even contest, and Rengar just, no sweat, just goes straight, keeps focused on dragon, and then as soon as the dragon's down, just peel off and go for the Orianna.
Yeah, and actually not using his Qs, saw that the shockwave was coming, but did not panic smite it. Just keeping his cool, waiting for the shockwave to go, and then smiting it down.
So you can see now the double kill coming out strong for Ashe, because she's managed to get the F-Sword and a pickaxe because Jinx was forced to back because she died. But it's going to mean that this bot lane is going to favour the red side. Whether they're just going to push this in really hard, or they're just going to sort of look to either slow push or freeze is going to be interesting. I feel they're just going to try and push this under turret as best as possible, get the Jinx to try and last hit as much as she can under turret, possibly get some of that mana out from the rockets, but it looks like she's going to be okay.
So despite Maokai using that TP uneffectively on the bottom lane, and Olaf using his TP to get back on lane, Maokai is still ahead in CS by 10.
Yeah,
now
he's doing
actually
a really good job.
trading quite nicely against the Olaf.
Yeah, so he's about 1,000 gold ahead right now, based off those 2 kills and the CS, and it means that he's just got a lot more survivability than Olaf has damage. Olaf forced to get that MR early, meaning that he can't push in this Maokai as hard as he can, and he just can't trade back as evenly as he would like to.
Ooh,
Like right now,
spots.
Maokai just tanking everything.
Yeah, thank God not taking the third aggro for now. Skarner was looking for gank on the bottom lane, was waiting until the dry push was cleared out of wards, but Janna just placing another one, and now Skarner has to do a lane gank. Braum goes in with the ultimate, gets another cup onto the Ashe, but the heal comes through. Skarner is a little bit too far away, almost has to flash away to get in range. He gets Janna, and Janna is dead. They're gonna give it up to Jinx. Meanwhile, top lane, Maokai goes in against this Olaf, and he's doing a lot of work. There's the ghost coming up, but the sapling, the landing damage does quite nice damage. But then the sapling would have had to chase.
So, what was interesting there bot lane was that when Skarner went for the pull, Skarner used her ultimate, but it was just too late, so Skarner got the ultimate off, and all she managed to do was push herself even further back. That's why Skarner just flew back and got that extra range. So she basically just assisted in her own demise.
That's nice. That's almost a worthy of a replay if we can get it on screen for you viewers.
Yeah.
Let's get it like in some kind of slow motion. Of course, we can see it.
Oh, here comes the Rengar, and no.
But no gank. We're just gonna wait until you get past it.
So that's quite disappointing when Rengar uses his ultimate, looks for something, and the jungler's there. You just can't. You couldn't go in there. Skarner would have just came out, done this.
Oh, but now Maokai has once again TP'd onto the bottom lane. Jan tornadoes, and Ashe has to flash away from harm's way. That's another TP gank. That's not effective. But Olaf this time has also TP'd to the bottom lane, but he gets stunned up by the Braum ulti. Rengar is there to follow it up. The magic shield keeping him gets popped, but now Jinx is doing work, gets a double kill, but a nice arrow from Ashe shuts down Jinx, who I think flashed for it, and now Skarner is doing work on the top lane, gets a kill onto the Olaf. No,
and it's a full-on party bot lane. Everyone's coming down and wants a piece of the action. Even Orianna roamed down, but by the time she got there, everyone was dead. So it was just a wasted roam where she could have got some pressure under mid. And now Anivia's going to get back just in time for the wave. Skarner just going to possibly even get this turret straight up.
Yeah, that was a little messy, but it ended up being a 2v4 in favor of the blue team.
Yeah, so red team managed to pick up a few with that Ashe, getting an extra couple of kills on it. Quite nice, but at the same time it's just not worth, because Skarner getting that bottom lane turret, putting even more pressure on that dragon, which is coming up in 35 seconds. But not much vision in the enemy side jungle.
It's not so. It's lucky if there's any of their own wards, even anywhere on the map.
Yeah, Braum has that sightstone and he does have a sweeper, so he's putting the ward. He's starting to look to put the wards down, but whenever he tries to go towards the enemy jungle, there seems to be either an Anivia, a Janna, or a Rengar just looking to push him out.
Yeah, but this time it's a Maokai who's caught out. Doesn't almost get the kill onto the Olaf, but it wasn't too far away.
The Rengar almost went down there, but just out of range. Just out of range. But to be fair, a really good gank there, making sure to try and shut down that Maokai, who's becoming a bit of a monster as tank goes.
So instead of
Rod of Ages, so.
Yeah, instead of going for the Righteous Glory, he's gonna pick up a Rod of Ages.
Yeah, so the Rod of Ages is going to scale really well, and it's going to mean he'll bring a lot more into the team fights, especially when he jumps in, gets that extra damage off, and then just survives with pure health. And then he's got the resistances from the Glacial and the Randuin's, possibly going to turn that into a Frozen Heart, I would think. To try and shut down that Olaf, who does scale exceptionally well with the attack speed. It'll mean his passive gets a lot less effective as he starts hitting that and getting near the Maokai. Really good pressure though by the Anivia to just push this wave in with her ultimate.
So almost that we have basically not talked about at this all, but Anivia got the tier and the catalyst. Is looking to get those scaling items. The
yeah, so she's trying to either work towards she's either going to transition this into a Seraphs, but I would think she's either going to go Seraphs or she's going to go Rod of Ages, and I'll be interested to see which one comes out first. I would think she would probably go for the Rod of Ages.
Yeah.
To just get that stacked up, but at the same time, it's just going to be an interesting pick either way. Because Anivia's just going to want to scale quite well into the late game. And they're actually doing an okay job. Red side's doing alright to keep up in gold, considering they were almost giving away quite a bit. They were doing well to shut down early, but then red side did a really good job of getting some kills, and then they just gave away quite a bit to the blue team with just a few drops here and there.
So Skarner is looking for a gank onto the bottom lane. He has pinged that he's gonna come through the tri-push, but the Rengar spots it out with the ward. So now the camera's a little bit down to the Braum, but he gets pulled onto the Ashe, but the Rengar has jumped onto the Jinx and gets a kill onto the Jinx. Monsoon keeping Ashe alive, and now Ashe is just gonna pick up an easy kill onto the Braum. Gets the Winter's Bite, but that's all he gets, and that's a kill for Ashe.
That counter gank from Rengar coming in at the perfect time to just jump in, do some damage, and now this could be Dragon going over. The problem is though that Ashe missed that arrow from point blank range on the Skarner. He was charging at it and it looks like it's going to kick off again.
Yeah, Skarner being on the front line gets stunned by the Nivea, but there's a 4-man shockwave! But too bad there's almost no damage coming out. Skarner had to flash in for the damage, but gets picked up by Ashe. And meanwhile, Orianna is gonna pick up the kill onto the Rengar. And now Maokai has joined in, but they're running up from the rocket. But Super Mega Jabber actually comes through! Ooh!
Just not enough. I think the Richter skill, but oh my god.
Oh, they're still going for it. They're committed. Flash over the kill. But two members are low. He has to use the egg. The egg! The egg is so good! They're thinking that Maokai is gonna get an omelet, but that's a hard egg! Olaf goes in.
Olaf coming on.
Yeah, Olaf giving the chase onto the Orianna, is gonna get the 1 kill, and now just swinging around, but Braum and Jinx, they have respawned. Now they're back in the fight. They cannot come through, and the sap misses, but the sapling, is it gonna be? Yes! No! It's Jinx! It's Jinx who gets it!
This is insane. Olaf coming out with the Dukes to dodge most of the skill shots, but in the end the slow is enough to secure the kill. And this is now going to be Dragon contested again.
Yeah, Ashe is now another enter, but he just gets spotted out by Braum. Not gonna go for it.
Enough pressure from the rest of the team. Rengar was too far away. Janna was also quite far up in their own jungle, and they're just going to walk in and just try and clear a few wards. Let's lay down a bit of vision, I would think.
Yeah, a little bit going back and forth, not being on the same page about if we should just clear the ward or should we clear the ward and then stay for maybe an ambush, but in the end they choose just to clear the ward. Janna is gonna pick that one up next to the sweeper.
That was an amazing set of fights. So we had a 4-man shockwave into the chase, into Olaf coming through to save the egg, into Olaf's Dukes, the whatever god he supports, and he just manages to get killed at the end by the Jinx, followed by just straight up Dragon.
So Orianna gets Ludwig caught up by the zone and the E of Anivia, and a warding mission from Skarner is not gonna get the last auto.
Just not enough attack speed to get in there.
And
the addition of the Deadman's player is going to do really good work for Skarner, because it's going to mean he gets on the line a lot quicker. But I'll be interested to see what he starts to go now, because he already does have that MR item coming out. I'll be interested to see if he goes for a locket maybe, or if he just goes straight up for something like Banshee's Spirit Visage. Either way, I think it'll be a really good pickup for him. It'll mean that Anivia will do a lot less damage.
Yeah, and speaking of Anivia, she has finally picked up the first scaling item, and it is the Rite of Ages. And he's looking for a Maokai who's standing on a border push, but Skarner is there to follow it up. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, Ash goes in with the ultimate, but he stands into the jumper, so he doesn't get the kill. Rengar jumps in and he finishes up that kill. Almost a misplay from Ash.
Denied the entrance there by Anivia with a really good wall, but Rengar jumping on the turret with his ultimate, but he managed to get the auto attack in there. Almost a bit of a fail there, but just enough.
Now the blue team is pushing the mid turret. The Jinx is not there, but Ash is pushing the bottom lane, so they're at least gonna trade turrets. Ash is the first one to get it, and the blue team actually doesn't get it now. So Ash now has time to go back to base and run up to defend that mid lane turret.
Yeah, so really good pressure here, but the wave clear is just really strong, and this is what Janna's bringing to the team. She's getting a
a 3-man shockwave this comes this time, and a promoted, but the monsoon just cancels out everything that they threw
yeah,
at the enemy
Olaf
team.
really wanted to go in there, but the team just wasn't ready to go in, and there's just too much damage at the minute on the blue team. So grouped out now, we may see Rengar possibly coming for a flank. He doesn't have ultimate up just yet. It's still on cooldown, so we'll see what he does.
Yeah, he was farming the Raptor camp actually, just over the wall. Oh, I suppose you can do that, but defending's quite nice also, I heard. But it doesn't matter in the end, still manages to get the kill onto the turret.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how this one progresses. I mean, Rengar's looking to just try and get something back, because that mid turret was gone. There was no way he was protecting that. So he might as well salvage as much as he can from his own jungle. So tonight, Skarner, who you saw looking to ease in there and try and take a little bit, but again, nothing for him to take, so a pretty good pickup there for Rengar.
So Maokai now has a fully stacked Rite of Ages and a Frozen Heart. Gonna work pretty nicely against an Ashe and an Olaf.
Yeah, definitely. He's gonna be a bit of a tank. Really hard threat to sort of shut down or keep away from that backline, which he's just gonna aggressively try and pile on, as we've seen him do already. But at the same time, red side's starting to sort of even it out a little bit. The gold is getting a little bit lower as to what the gap is, and they're doing a really good job of just generally pressuring the map. If they can get back a few turrets, I would like to possibly see the Olaf try and get a little bit of a split push going with that TP being there. But it'll be interesting to see how blue side sort of defend against this and try and push their already decent advantage.
Yeah, but both teams just happy to go on a ward hunting trip.
Yeah,
Olaf
so
would be staying on the top side looking to farm, but Maokai is there. Has finished up the Judgment's Blade now.
yeah, I feel he can't do a massive amount to Maokai, but he can trade okay with him. And the unfortunate bit being that he didn't have a decent tanky item to keep himself alive. So when although he was doing a little bit of damage, he was taking too much to really make that effective. And now again, we just see the vision walls just down.
With Janna, you have to be a little bit careful. I don't think that Orianna is gonna use the shockwave just on the support. So, but still a nice damage coming up with the
Taken away by the smite
W.
there. The smite just enough to... Right, but they're gonna look to try and push this in and possibly get the dragon as it spawns.
So both top laners having the TP up. Maokai is standing still, so you know what that means. He's looking for TP, and both teams are TPing almost at the same time. Rengar is still, tries to get the steal, but doesn't get it, but he jumps in, still for the Jinx, but it's the Skarner who uses ulti, and Jinx fails the flash over the wall, but it doesn't matter because it's Skarner who gets skill. Now there's tons of damage coming up to the Ashe and to the Janna, but they both manages to get away, so at least for the time being, a tornado cancels out Skarner. Tries to go for the Ashe, but doesn't quite get it.
barely able to escape there, flashing over the wall after using her ult, making sure to sombrero it on top of herself. But Olaf popping his ultimate, meaning that he doesn't get disrupted, so he just keeps piling on, and she had to flash away there. Otherwise, that would have been a kill traded.
Yeah, Makai now going in for the Olaf, and everybody just piles up on him, gets the stun, and that's gonna be kill. It's Makai who once again gets the kill onto the Viking.
Olaf just wants to play League of Legends at this point, because that CC chain was so long. Just one after another, keeping him down and is to just be destroyed by the backline.
And not much really that he can do, especially without a flash, so he just has to be very careful if he's mispositioned himself, but only then he has to run away, he can't just flash away. But now the blue team is looking for ambush. Ash is going for it, they cancel the recalls. Ash, you're dead, and Jinx, you're the one who gets it.
Yep, hello and good night. There's just nothing you can do. I feel it was a little bit overzealous by the Ashe there. I mean, you don't know whether they're going to be down there because they've just backed away from a big fight, and to be fair, there's no reason for you to push too far, especially when you're on your own. I mean, Nivea was doing the blue, he wasn't going to come and help, and there's just no backup from anyone else to help you. So,
yeah, and actually, Ashe doesn't have the Scrying Orb, so good not just whip the bush to see if anyone's there, just has that warding totem.
Yeah.
And that's actually pretty bad, in my opinion, for the red team, because Anivia or Ashe still haven't done anything with their trinket.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's just not enough going down, and it looks like it's possibly a Baron fight coming up.
Yeah, there comes a sweeper to deny the vision, and another one, but they're not gonna actually get that one. Rengar goes in, but the shockwave cancels it, gets a two-man, and Rengar is dead on the front line. It's Jinx who gets that kill, and now they're right back onto the Baron. And then Ashe ulti comes through, but Braum uses the shield just to block some damage. Now Olaf is in the front line, he gets stunned up, Skarner gets that one, he gets Anivia gets ulted by the Skarner, and Jinx is gonna get that one, and another stun, this time on the Janna. He gets hit by the sap, there's the slow, and he just sacrifices his body, gets the Spire actually. And they're looking for over the wall. Super Mega Deck Rocket comes. I think that would have required one more auto attack.
Yeah, just one more auto attack and she would have. An interesting fight. And really good there though by the Braum ultimate. The Braum ultimate came down just as the Rengar went to do the pounce, so he just got interrupted mid-flight and couldn't even do anything. He just got taken out immediately from that stun. Olaf coming in a little bit late, still doesn't have enough damage to really focus down the main carries or be able to really survive in the fight long enough to do anything other than just go down to some extended damage, and the backline just not able to get in range to burst anything. Anivia not even able to get any of her main spells off. I mean, there's not much you can do against this Skarner. He's just really pushing in the front line, and Maokai's just becoming a tanky.
Yeah, Rengar not getting any chance to even get near the Baron with those two pink wards in the river. So those were nicely placed. And now the blue team is sieging on the mid lane, but only with 3 members. Skarner and Jinx are in space. Jinx is already running out, Skarner is still waiting for gold.
The turret is exceptionally low though, and they do have Command Shockwave up, ready to possibly get some damage on there.
So with a bit of a bait with Braum, just standing in the zone of Anivia's ultimate, meanwhile Orianna could finish up that turret. But now Maokai is in the front, he flashes in, gets the twisted advance onto the Ashe, but Rengar is hunted, he's looking for the backline, and Shockwave totally whips, because Skarner had the person in it, ulted, but it doesn't matter, because they're still clearing up those kills. It's 2 kills, but none. Braum did not go down. And now Maokai is still going in, and Orianna actually just flashes in, but he gets ulted by the Ashe. Ashe is gonna pick up the kill, no! Orianna stays alive, that's the dangerous game. And then Anivia this time flashes in, gets 1 kill, and another one.
That
But
was a costly
they're
mistake.
gonna lose an
there by Ash.
Inhibi. Nivea, can you be the bird enough to get a triple kill? No, you can't. You're gonna get aced. And Rengar
No
is gonna
way
be
you are
up.
taking down that. But that was a really good wall to start that off. But once they pushed in and just started wrecking face, there's just nothing to do. This is the problem though. Maokai takes no damage in this, so Olaf goes all the way to the back line, but there's nothing to back him up. There's no one who can get past the front line that is Maokai and Skarner, because they're just going straight on their back line and doing so much more damage and not taking as much turn. There's just nothing that Red Team can really do in these fights. I think they're going to have to pull out some interesting rotations, playing around these objectives, and they're going to really have to try and pick somebody out. Otherwise, this is just going to be a game.
Yeah, that's actually a big blue buff still denying it from Anivia, so she can't really spam out. Has the Seraphs and Anisis Ward's Wrath finished up, but that's a Dragon number 3 for the blue team. And Brom, you're a little bit deep, but thank goodness you're not being followed up by any of the members of the red team, because you would have been dead.
But Brom's picked up Gutsy, so that's going to do... That Jinx is just going to crit so much when it gets stacked. He's just going to have an absolute field day getting resets from the back line with those buckets.
So now the game is a little bit slowed down on tempo.
Yeah, so the waves aren't pushing very well at the minute, so there's nothing really on turrets or nearby. There is a little bit building up on the side lanes. Maokai's making sure to push that top lane in, but the bottom lane is slowly pushing, and we'll see how that pans out. But again, the super minions pushing down the middle. They need multiple members to defend this, because at the minute that Anivia's just not strong enough to just take out the wave straight away. She does have an Archangel though, and more fights going on.
Oh yeah, Olaf is getting almost semi-dived by the blue teams, but they're not going through with it. Instead, they're gonna focus their focus onto the turret instead, and they're gonna pick up that one. Skarner coming up, he's gonna find Anivia there. He's gonna get the ulti, he gets it, and he's gonna drag him to her death. But does she have the egg up in time? She does, but how long is that gonna keep her alive? Not so much, it seems. Rengar has gone in with ulti, while Maokai has gone in as the front line. There comes the Brom ulti onto the Ashe. Ashe is gonna get killed. Super Mega Death Rocket comes through to Olaf, but that's gonna do not hold much. Shockwave comes through, but the Ragnarok is still active, so it doesn't pull, but still does some bit of damage.
The BM from the Skarner as he stands there and tanks the turret.
Oh my god, that's super tank. Almost Maokai goes in, they're gonna pick at least one more kill. Can they get an ace?
That's just it.
They're not going for it. Jinx is trying.
Well, she wants the kill, but...
No, they're not committed to it, that's a bad commitment. But it doesn't matter, that's game.
And well played. A really good game there. I feel both sides had some times where they were showing a lot of pressure. So blue team came out really good top lane with the Skarner ganks early, making sure to keep that Olaf down, blowing those summoners when necessary, and just getting the Maokai snowballing. But Ashe came up really strong in bot lane with that Rengar gank, and to be honest, they just weren't able to transition that into a good enough lead, where red team weren't able to get on the right kind of objectives, weren't able to push it through good enough, and just in general weren't able to win the game.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so a good game nonetheless though, and I think hats off definitely to the Skarner and the Maokai. Maokai's twisted advance at the end going through the Janna ultimate, it was just perfectly timed and really well done. But that will be it, and if you guys want to join in, we'll make sure to join our TS. Houseparty 5v5.typefrag.com and join in, jump into the EU West lobby, wait around a bit, have a bit of a chat with people who are already there, and we'll see if we can get you into the next games. Now, that'll be us out, and we'll be back to you very shortly.
Sound muted.